watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Happening now at 9, covering the entire DMV. Wet and windy weather, the rain heading into the DMV. We're tracking that soggy forecast. And after the fire, the former DC fire station that went up in smoke overnight, the latest on that investigation. And barred from business in the nation's capital.
Business owners have to do what they have to do in order to keep everybody safe.
Where local kids and teens aren't allowed to shop without an adult. A report during the busy gift-giving season.
And it is a waiting period right now, waiting for some rain and heavy rain at that to move across the region. We'll talk about the timeline of when those storms, rainstorms and heavy rain moves in.
And good evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 9. I'm Ben Dennis. Developing right now, Arlington County Fire and EMS saying that they put out a fire on the roof of the Pentagon City Mall tonight. Shoppers had to be evacuated. That call came in around 7:20 tonight for a report of smoke on top of the mall. Fire officials say they were able to knock it down. It was caused by malfunctioning ductwork. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll have a live report on scene. And an update on the massive fire that ripped through an old firehouse in the district. DC Fire says teams are still on scene today to monitor this building. The damage clearly done. Meantime, this video from last night on North Capitol Street off of Florida Avenue when that blaze broke out. Firefighters say the building was under renovation, and flames also tore through a new 4-story building that was attached. Firefighters say that some nearby homes were evacuated and over 100 responders were on scene. Officials say nobody was injured or displaced. That building built back in 1896. Police in the district are investigating after finding human remains in Southwest just this morning. Officials say they found the remains near 2nd and Chesapeake. Police say it's now a death investigation. We'll keep you updated. And in Virginia, a man is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Stafford County. According to the county sheriff, deputies responded to a disturbance at a home on Richmond Highway. This is near Jason Lane. When they got there, they found a man brandishing a rifle, we're told. Deputies said that they repeatedly told the man to drop that gun, but he failed to do so. Deputies then shot at the man. He's died on scene. Those deputies involved have been placed on routine administrative leave. And Arlington County police are investigating a triple stabbing of the stairwell of an apartment building in the Arlington Mill neighborhood just yesterday. We're told this happened around 6 p.m. on Columbia Pike near South Frederick Street. Police say a man was stabbed on scene. They also found 2 more stabbing victims, including a boy in the nearby area, his age unknown. All 3 went to hospital with serious injuries, but they are considered to be non-life-threatening. Police believe that a fight between the victims and 2 others led up to that stabbing. Arlington National Cemetery has officially wrapped up this year's Wreaths Across America event. Officials say that the cemetery saw 30,000 visitors for the celebration. They placed around 260,000 wreaths at grave sites of our fallen service members. Your time now is 9:03. Going to your weather now with Scott Sumner. Scott, bring us up to speed. We got a nice live look of Reagan National, but this time tomorrow, we're going to see plenty of rain to come in.
Yeah, and some rain delays possibly, or delays maybe due to the weather as we get into the next couple of afternoons. Right now, things quiet. It is cloudy out there. We do have temperatures that are going to be in the 40s throughout the night, and especially in the district. Outside of the district, well outside the district, maybe dropping into some of the middle and upper 30s, but otherwise in the 40s here throughout the morning. And then waiting for this moisture, as you see, well down at the south at this point in time across portions of Florida and even up towards the Tennessee and Mississippi valleys. We're looking at all of that rain merging and moving up in our direction. So already we have flood alerts out up and down the eastern seaboard here, including our viewing area, which has a aerial flood watch in effect that will run through tomorrow night and going into your Monday morning and Monday in general. Then Monday afternoon and Monday night, that's when the cold air starts to move on in, and then there's a winter storm watch in effect for Garrett County. A multitude of different watches and alerts going on. We'll talk more about this in depth coming up in my regular weather in just a bit.
Plenty to cover. Thank you, Scott. Meantime, malls and stores are certainly busy this weekend as shoppers are taking care of holiday presents for loved ones and friends. But some are finding it difficult to buy what they want at one DC mall. Signs are posted on all entrances to the DC USA Mall that anybody under the age of 18 is not allowed to come in if they're not accompanied by an adult. Security officers told us the new policy went into effect earlier this week to reduce a rise in juvenile crime. Mall managers have not responded to our request to comment on the new policy, but shoppers did talk to us. Those that did have mixed reaction to unaccompanied minors not being allowed in that shopping center.
If I'm 17 years old and if I want to buy something for my mom, I'm not going to do much. So I don't think it's a good idea, you know.
I think given the area that's, what's going on in this area and the climate in this area right now, I think the stores and business owners have to do what they have to do in order to keep everybody safe.
Security officers did not say how they will check somebody's ID to make sure they're at least 18. Meantime, Maryland's The Mall in Columbia adopted a similar policy last March because of unruly teenage behavior. Metro riders, this one's for you. There are major cuts to service across the DMV that could happen if a funding gap isn't addressed. WMATA is working to close a $750 million budget deficit. The agency says those cuts would close certain Metro stops, severely impacting the region and the travel. Here are some of those changes that Metro is suggesting to save money next year. 10 rail stations would completely close. All stations to stay open late, well, they're going to start closing 10 p.m. every day. Fares and parking fees will jump by 20%. Wait times also going up. The number of Metro bus service lines would be cut in half, and Metro would lay off more than 2,200 employees.
You're talking about a group of workers who stood up in 2020 throughout this entire pandemic. And then you're talking about laying them off. And the only thing that I can say is shame on this region.
Metro says stations with lowest ridership this winter would shut down if the plan goes through. And after a tree trimmer was killed while working on the side of busy 495 in Silver Spring just on Wednesday morning, there's an increased focus in the state on making work zones safer. The Lieutenant Governor is outlining steps that the Westmore administration is ready to take. Daniel Hamburg shares what lawmakers are planning to help avoid these tragedies.
57-year-old Eric Lewis of D.C. is the latest victim of a work zone crash. The foreman of a tree trimming operation here on I-495 hit and killed by a truck driver who drove away.
It's really heart-wrenching, Daniel.
Lieutenant Governor Aruna Miller says right now there are over 300 construction zones across the state with more than 1,000 workers.
And so far to date, we've had over 1,100 crashes in the state of Maryland.
Miller says better advertising and education are at the top of things to improve.
We're talking about making sure we go into our schools, teach kids early on, making sure in the driver's manual we talk about the move over law.
Maryland's move over law requires all drivers to make a lane change or slow down when passing a stopped vehicle with hazard lights or warning signs. Violating the law carries a $110 fine and a point on your license. She wants to see better enforcement. Right now in Maryland, when you speed through a work zone,
the citation amount is $40. It is the lowest in the nation. There are some states like Texas, it's up to $1,000.
Miller says it will take a culture shift to change driver behavior, but it's necessary to protect workers.
All of us need to come home to our loved ones, and we each have a responsibility to make sure that happens.
Daniel Hamburg reporting. The Arlington chapter of the NAACP is calling for a federal investigation into the county jail. The organization says that 9 inmates have died at the jail in the last 8 years, including one inmate found unresponsive in his cell on Wednesday. The president of the NAACP chapter says in part, quote, the county sheriff's office and other county leaders have been unable to properly address the root of the problem. He adds the death rate is accelerating and the conditions inside the jail remain inhumane and unsatisfactory. We've reached out to the jail for comment, still have not heard anything back. In this week's news that a deal is in place to move the Washington Capitals and the Wizards to Virginia. It stunned the DMV and the sports world. The teams have called Chinatown home for almost 3 decades. While Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin and Monumental Sports and Entertainment majority owner Ted Leonsis spoke quite definitively on the project, D.C. leaders say it's not a done deal. Haley Mylon is in the newsroom breaking down the timeline.
This is far from being a done deal. So much must fall into place first. And while the news came as a big surprise to sports fans and the DMV alike this week, Monumental Sports and Entertainment majority owner Ted Leonsis has been talking to lawmakers about this for months. It started this summer when discussions began between Governor Glenn Youngkin and Ted Leonsis. Then Alexandria City Council members say they've been exploring the project for weeks, which brings us to Wednesday, the announcement of the deal. However, hours before, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser made a last-minute pitch to keep the teams in D.C., offering $500 million to modernize the Capital One Center. And now we learn the Metro Authority wasn't a part of the process. There is still a lot that needs to be figured out. Metro is considering closing 10 stations amid budget troubles. If they did that today, Potomac Yard at the proposed stadium site would be one of them. Then we get to the land itself. The site belongs to developer JBG Smith. Governor Glenn Youngkin is asking the Virginia General Assembly to form a Virginia Sports and Entertainment Commission. The authority would purchase the land from JBG and sell bonds. Officials say the project will be paid for in full by the incremental project revenues. The deal requires a number of infrastructure investments from Monumental, the state of Virginia, and the city of Alexandria, though officials haven't said what those investments will be. 2025 is when the organizers hope to break ground on the project. On the sports side, the NBA and the NHL will need to approve the move. If all that happens, the teams could be playing at the new site as early as 2028. And of course, all of this is subject to change. Virginia lawmakers and Monumental Sports and Entertainment only have a verbal agreement in place, and Leonsis has not yet responded publicly to DC's last-minute offer. From the newsroom, Haley Mylon, DC News Now.
Some folks say that they were blindsided by the announcement. One group called Moms Against Monumental says that the money should go to schools instead of arenas. Others argue that the deal is not economically wise for the area and plays tax jurisdictions against each other.
It brings tons of things that upset this balance that we have achieved, and so we're pushing back. And also the process. Like, there was no transparency. They just come in and drop this bomb on us.
There's plenty of economic activity here. The idea that a stadium is some sort of magic fairy dust, point me to the economic activity that surrounds FedEx Field. Look at the situation that's happening in Chinatown right now. There's plenty of hockey games, plenty of basketball games, and businesses are leaving.
The proposal will become official if and when the General Assembly and City Council sign off on the plan.